Could we see the first female US president come November 5? Joining me live is Hawker Britton founder Bruce Hawker. Bruce, very good morning. Welcome to the program. Look, if you said that a couple of months ago, you would have thought I was mad, but it's every chance.
Yes, indeed. It's sort of one of those things. Don't just start thinking about what might happen down the line, and the story can be very different to what Trump was planning just a matter of weeks ago. So she's taken the world by storm. The politics in America has changed fundamentally now, and she's very much on the attack and on the rise. It's as if the Trump camp didn't really anticipate that she was going to take over the candidacy, and yet they should have thought about that very seriously, given the trouble that Biden was in after that debate. So I think she's left them very flat-footed. The reactions have been quite hysterical in some cases. You know, Trump coming out and saying she isn't really identifying as hasn't really identified as a black person until recently. Before that, she was identifying as an Indian. He did that at a black journalists convention, which I thought was a really bad place to be making that claim. And so now she's very competitive and is surging in the swing states.
Absolutely. And it looks like Donald Trump and JD Vance. Someone explained what you just talked about there as a dumpster fire. And look, they're just shooting themselves in the feet, aren't they? Like JD Vance trying to walk back his comments about cat ladies, and he just dug himself a deeper hole.
You know, one thing about these populists is that they can't walk back. Once they come out and make a claim, a statement, in order to maintain the sort of the image that they want, they can't be seen to be backing away. Otherwise, they look a bit like the Wizard of Oz after he's exposed. You know, they pull back the curtain and it's just somebody puffing and bluffing away behind a screen. So he can't do that. If he wants to be a populist, he has to actually stick to what he said and keep the faith with the people that see some magic in what he has to say. So he's got a problem right now. Trump is trying to distance himself somewhat from him, which is interesting. All in all, it's turning into a very interesting contest. Harris will decide over the weekend who her running mate is going to be. It'll almost certainly be a white male, and it'll probably be one of the governors from either Minnesota or Arizona or Pennsylvania or Kentucky. The Arizona senator, I think, is a real show. Kelly, he's very interesting. He's he's a former astronaut. His wife is Gabby Gifford, who was an assassination. Someone tried to assassinate her several years ago, and she was badly injured as a result of that. So there's a whole story around him and his wife that is worth telling. But one thing you can be pretty sure of is that she will go for a white male in a swing seat in order to balance the fact that they've got an African-American stroke Indian woman running for the presidency, which is obviously uncharted waters in the United States.
Yeah, and there's a lot to come, and talk that Taylor Swift may start endorsing Kamala Harris in 2024. That means something. Now, let's look back closer to home. The government, did they breathe a sigh of relief when those inflation numbers came out? Because for anyone who knows what they're talking about, they were lower than what was expected, and a rate rise on Tuesday is looking unlikely.
Highly unlikely now, and the stock exchanges obviously responded quite strongly to worsening unemployment numbers in the United States, which would suggest that they really do have to start bringing down interest rates pretty quickly in order to make for a softer landing, both in the United States and I suspect in Australia. So I'd be very, very surprised, as would anybody else, I think, if there was going to be an interest rate rise at this stage. It'll probably stay on hold for the moment, but certainly we're looking now to interest rates coming down by the end of the year, which is good for the Albanese government, because it's exactly what people want and need from the government, and it will, if they can do that, it'll give them the opportunity to say, we stayed the course on this tough question about economic management, and now you're benefiting from it. And that's a good story to go into in an election year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, people are desperate, and not just one or two people, large chunks of the Australian community desperate for interest rates to drop because no one forecast all those rises. It was said that it was going to stay on hold forever, virtually, or at least a couple of years. Anyway, finally, do you think the election will stay where it is early next year?
That's my gut feeling. It would mean, if they were going to have it this year, that they'd have to pretty much have it before the school holidays started, and that's getting very tight. I think they're keeping their options open to do that, but I think everything would point to an election early in next year.
Okay. Thank you, Bruce. Let's do it again real soon. Always good to chat. Plenty to talk about.
You too, Tim.